Hey guys, welcome to Book with Keyboard, the podcast where we talk about reading culture and all the opinions that come with being emotionally attached to fictional characters. I'm your host, Kiba. Whether you're reading on a Kindle, listening to an audiobook, or trying to get out of a reading slump, you're in the right place. Let's get booked. Today we're going to be diving into one of the biggest fantasy series, The Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I know you've seen it all over Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram, and you're wondering whether it's worth the hype or maybe you just finished it and need to talk about it. This is the place to be. We're going to be covering spoiler free overview at first, then we dive into some juicy spoilers, character arcs, and my thoughts. So if you haven't read the entire series as yet, don't worry. I'll warn you before the spoilers start. Let's start with the basic. Throne of Glass is an 8-book fantasy series by Sarah J. Maas. It follows Selena Sordathian, an infamous assassin who has been imprisoned and gets pulled into a deadly competition to win her freedom. What starts as a story about the assassin competing in the king court turns into a massive world-spanning fantasy full of magic, war, betrayal, and destiny-seeking situations. The tone really shifts as you go. The first book feels like a way with romance, court, intrigue, but as you prolong into the series, it becomes this epic high fantasy saga. If you're new to it, it's definitely recommended when you're reading it, starting with Throne of Glass, The Crown of Night, The Hair of Fire, and then reading The Assassin Blade after all of that. And then you follow the other chronological orders. You can also read or watch other videos of how you're supposed to read it and see what best fits you. This series explores themes like freedom, identity, power, and healing from trauma. And if you love morally gray characters and slow burn relationships, you'll definitely find something you love here. Definitely. Spoiler alert. So if you haven't read the book or read parts of the book, it's best to pause right here. So we're going to be going into some of the character arcs that we have here in the book. Let's talk about Selena, or should I say Ellen. In the first book, we meet her as a confident, deadly assassin. But what I love is how that the confident hides so much pain and guilt. Then when her real identity as the lost queen of Terrasin is revealed, it's a complete change how you see her. Her transformation is incredible. Love the character development. She goes through from being a survivor focused only on herself to someone willing to sacrifice everything for her kingdom. What makes Aileen super special isn't just her power, but how she keeps on pushing forward despite everything. Her losing Sam, her losing Neymar, and her later surviving Maeve through torture. She's one of those characters who embodies strength and vulnerability at the same time, and I really love that. Let's go into some of the other characters like Chill. I do not like this character, just say that from off the bat. This is one of Selena's love interests. I like how he was grounded, but alien world expanded, and you could see they are growing apart. His character really shines again in Toll of Dawn, so they supposed to shine in this part. I have other things to say. The whole Eileen arc and the relationship with Urine was a beautiful redemption. I keep on saying this young man keeps on getting bodies after bodies. Dorian is one of the first relationships she had. He was flirty, then everything turned dark and powerful. And his struggle with the Val position was one of the most emotional part of the series. And I love how he grew into a compassionate king. But to be honest, I thought Dorian, comparing to Chill relationship with Aileen, Dorian is a better fit for her. And I wanted them to explore that a little bit more. But instead we got Chill, unfortunately. Then Ruan, which is the Fey warrior who goes from alien brutal trainer to her equal and partner. Their dynamic starts out very rough and it evolves into everything that is so respectful and passionate and so beautiful. I love this relationship for them. Then there's Manon, who probably has one of the best character development outside of Alien. Her storyline, questioning everything she had been taught, choosing her own destiny, and uniting the witches is just phenomenal. Then we have Ellen and Lorcan, their relationship can't go wrong. It's chef kiss, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the redemption. It was just messy and it's so satisfying. Come on now. Anybody that says Lorcan tearing up his shirt, giving to Mama Bear is come on. Hey. One of the things that I love about this is the world building and the magic system that it comes out. It was very clear. I didn't have any time to be wondering if this is what is going on. One thing that makes it very special is how the world expands. It started with one curved kingdom with no magic. By the end of the entire series, multiple kingdoms, fae, courts, witches, and gods. The whole magical system that are around weird keys, weird gates, and foul demons is so intricate. I love how Mas actually slowly peel back these layers. It was not just dump on us in the first book. It kept on building and building. And that's something that you can look forward to as a fantasy reader. And when the alien uses almost her powers to forge the lock, this scene broke me. Like, I'm screaming, the fire, the sacrifice, the fact that she lives, even after losing nearly everything, is one of the best fantasy climaxes I've read in a long while. Some of my favorite moments that I had in this book is anything to do with Rowan and Ailing meeting, Bon, the entire knowing each other. I love it. They were such a character. They had a very good blend of the roughness at first and then they trickle into it. Where's my wife? That is such a beautiful moment right there. Manan and Abraxas. Let me tell you this. Anything with Manan and Abraxas was a scene that needed to be read. Imagine a witch that is so, they would say, very cruel, unkind, and very powerful, and she's taking up something that is broken and clean, that is very weak. And their dynamics. Abraxas was not leaving Manan. Manan was not leaving Abraxas. Let me tell you this, Abraxas was such a cute thing. Let me tell you, from him sniffing flowers and they're out there not eating anything, the man was, but Abraxas was like, no, I'm not doing all of that. Not eating that dirty food. You need to get something that Dorian fighting back during his possession, his Val possession. Come on. That was such a beautiful moment. Ellen and Lorcan love story. Fireheart, why are you crying scene during the Maeve torture scene entire side right there. It was scenes let me tell you this. It was such a beautiful moment. You know, seeing her mom coming back and giving her that simple push. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you, Manon killing her grandmother and freeing the witches. Let me tell you, it was one of the most very satisfying scenes to read. Those, yeah. There were some heartbreaking scenes there for me where I'm looking at, wait, what do you mean by you killed Sam? Sam didn't deserve any of that, to be honest. The 13th sacrificing himself was such a beautiful live, Manon, live. That was such an emotional moment. I had to put out the book and take a few, just taking what just happened. But these are some of my hot takes about the series. So the series was good, but sometimes I felt like the pacing was a little bit dragged a bit, especially in Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, and maybe because I disliked the character arc that was in the Tower of Dawn. But it's neither here nor there. But Mass definitely leans into her tropes like the matey bond, the alpha male, and the endless smirking. But that's neither here nor there for me. It's one of those things. It's your kind of book, what you're known for, and that's okay. I also wish for characters like Ideon and Fenris to had bit more time and a little bit more the characters developed more and we got more from them. They had so much potential, but it got overshadowed at times. And that could be worked out otherwise. But for me, I thought redemption arcs was to make people more likable. The entire time in Total Dawn, Chill or Kill, whatever his name is, it did not make him likable. It gave me views that, hey, Chill is of this one mindset and he's rigid in his mindset. He doesn't care for anything else other than what he believes in. It doesn't make him likable. Because at the end of the day, he accepted Dorian having magic, but did not accept Ellen being a fae. That's crazy work. At one point in time, I'm like,
Okay, are we going to get something else from Dorian and Chill? And my other last hot take is the assassination kind of thing. It lacked a little bit. Selena is one of the most feared assassins, and we really don't get any much assassination in this book. I was looking forward to her doing more with that part, but unfortunately, that's not what we got. We got more, the focus was shift heavily towards fairy magic, the war, raw magic, and witches and all of that. That's what we got, but I can't complain. But I hope we had saw like more assassination in there. My closing thoughts here. In the end, Throne of Glass is a story about survival, reclaiming identity, and fighting for hope. And let me tell you, they were fighting for something, and really hope was a big part of it. It starts as a story about an assassin and it ends as a story about a queen who chooses her people over everything. I rated the series overall a 4.5. It's emotional, addictive, and full of unforgettable characters. So now that you've heard from me, who's your favorite character, what book hits the hardest, and how do you feel about the ending in Kingdom of Ash? And do you like Toll of Dawn? Drop your thoughts in the comment. I love chatting with you guys about this world. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check out other reviews that will be coming in the future. Bye.